Good morning, champions. Coach Tina here, and we are on day 3 of our From Procrastination to Desired Destination Masterclass. So happy to have you guys. I can take off the starting soon, and I can go full screen to wish you a wonderful Friday. I love this masterclass. This is the Grateful, Thankful, Blessed edition. And obviously, we're in the month of November. It's fitting for what happens in the US, which is we're preparing this time of year for Thanksgiving. And I wanted to capitalize on those emotional aspects of procrastination because hopefully you've learned as we've gone through the material on day 1 and day 2 that emotions play a part in our need to procrastinate, on the reasons why we procrastinate, and so on. So lovely to have you. I'm going to share a couple of good morning messages. I know we've got a happy Friday. Hope everybody has a fabulous day. Sarah is watching from North Dakota, and Margaret is saying, good morning, everyone. So happy to have you guys. All right, let's get right into the material. And as you know, this is for women who are ready to take action to accomplish their dreams. And that is important to us because sometimes we're just not ready, or we tell ourselves we're not ready. But I believe that if you are here or if you are watching this, all the planets have perfectly aligned, and it is time for you to take the action that you need to push beyond the so level of your life into that higher playing field of greatness. So let's get started. What we're going to cover today is day 3, having hope that good things will happen. And this, again, hope. Yesterday we did an excellent exercise on hope and expectation. So don't get bogged down on those details, but we are going to explore those emotions from yesterday. And it's going to be so eye-opening, and we have a great visualization. So stick around to the end. You're going to really enjoy the material today. What we have is, in our discussion about procrastination, we have learned that procrastination can affect our relationships. It can affect things like getting a job, applying for things, rewriting your resume. It can affect just making your plan. Like you feel so overwhelmed, so many things going on that you can't even work the plan. Or you can't work the plan because you don't have a plan. Isn't life easier? Like when you go to the store with your grocery list, and it's easy to grab the things on the list, right? Yeah, you grab a few extras, or you might forget something. But having the list is a way different experience than when you go to the store just to grab a few things and you're like walking down the aisle going, I could make this and I could make that and I need some of this. And there's no organization. You're just throwing stuff into your cart. And then you get to the checkout and it's way more than you thought it would be, right? Without a plan, we kind of go haywire. So don't procrastinate the plan. Use that so that you have that checklist in front of you and you just follow the recipe. All right. Some of us procrastinate on supporting the health issues that we might have. So if you're in pain, if you're on meds, if there's something going on, we need to be looking at why you're not taking care of yourself at that level, because you don't feel like you should bother the doctor or whatever it is that's going on, that you're tamping down that feeling of you matter enough to take action on it. Okay, so for some of it's household stuff. We don't clean like we want to. We have clutter piling up. Some of us have a house full of boxes, and it's those things that you want to keep working on that you maybe don't always get the benefit of doing if you're putting it off. A lot of us procrastinate on things involving money or getting our business going. We have these big dreams in our hearts about how our life is supposed to be, but then there's a disconnect between what we want and what we believe we're capable of. And all of this is to say, like we talked the first day about what we want in the future, what our dreams and desires are. We got in touch with those emotions. Then on yesterday, day 2, we kind of talked about the reality of the emotions that we do have and how they're holding us back. And we did an exercise. I'm going to talk about it again in a minute, but we're going to see the end of that exercise tomorrow. And we're going to add a little bit to it today. And then tomorrow in the weekend workshop, we're going to dig much deeper into it. So I hope that everybody watching will jump in and watch that on Saturday with us. That is our deep dive. It's free for everybody because I made VIP access for all of us. So the question I have for you about procrastination is, what has procrastinating cost you in your life? Like when you look back on all the things that you could have done, but you didn't get done, what did that cost you? Was the price a relationship that's gone south? Was it that job you never got, but you knew you could have if you'd put a little bit more into it? Margaret, I love that. She's saying peace of mind. It has cost her that reassurance within her soul that everything is going to be okay. Ooh, both Sarah and Margaret said peace of mind. I love that. That is so true, right? And so that's why we're examining in deeper the emotions that are involved with everything. Because the blessing today is about the blessing, right? Thankful, a grateful, thankful, blessed. And the blessing of life is in the lessons that you learn along the way. It's actually the gift is that we get to live our lives, and our lives have problems, right? If we didn't have problems in our life, it wouldn't be very interesting. So we have these issues that go on around us in order for us to go into action and to create the life that we want to live. And so living our lives, even in the midst of all the things that can go wrong, we have to look for the blessing. And I use this picture of moving because obviously in the middle of my move, I'm noticing that things have been a little bit crazy, right? And when I saw this picture, it reminded me of a story that I wanted to tell you guys that I thought was funny about the blessings in life, right? When I had my last child, we were in the military and we had to move. And I was literally like less than 2 weeks away from having my son. And so we moved to Oklahoma, and it was so close to my due date that we actually traveled with the baby car seat in the car in case we had to stop along the way and have the baby, right? It was that kind of a move. And when we got to the new house, I didn't have the baby on the road, thank goodness. We took 2 cars. So I actually drove from California to Oklahoma, that much pregnant, with my 2 daughters in the back of the car. And my husband at the time took the car with the animals in it, and we drove cross country. So we get to Oklahoma, and I, of course, wanted to nest like crazy. I wanted to get in the house, get as much done as I could before I had the 3rd baby. And problem was, as extended as I was, I couldn't unpack fully. And so we had a room upstairs that was going to be my extra room. We had a 5th bedroom, and all of my stuff got put up in that room. And I went through and dug up everything, but I couldn't get to the bottom of the boxes. I couldn't do a lot of the work. So what I would do is unwrap something and I would throw the paper on the floor. And so I had, this room was literally full of wrapping paper as I tried to put things away and in shelves and so on. So I remember sitting in my house right after I had the baby and wishing that someone would come and clean my house. Okay. So I remember it vividly. I was holding the baby and I was thinking, I wish someone would come and clean my house for me because I don't see how I'm going to get through it after I had him. So when he was about 2 weeks old, the house had a kitchen fire. I put something on the stove, and thank goodness I was able to get the kids all out. It started too much. I took my daughters, I ran them outside, I handed them the baby and put them down on a tree. I said, don't move. I'm going to run back in, which you should never do during a fire. And I'm going to put some stuff on the grease. But it wasn't enough. I had to get out of the house. And it was crazy. The house did not burn down, but we lost the kitchen. And so they had us move out and everything. But when our insurance returned everything to normal, right? And what that meant is that when we moved back into the house, they came after all the repairs were made. And again, I remember holding my son thinking, oh my goodness, be careful what you pray for, right? They came and they cleaned every nook and cranny. They had this whole team of people around me just cleaning my house. And I was like, you never know how your prayers are going to get answered, right? And it's usually not the way that you expect. But I felt so blessed in that moment because it wasn't what I expected, but I got what I wanted, right? Like I got my house cleaned. So I was blessed. And that's the kind of thing that happens in life. We don't know what the gift is. We don't know the lesson until later when we look at it. But the gift is getting to live our lives. And, I say this with a touch of remorse. We had a family friend pass away last night that Chris was working very carefully with. And you have to treasure all those moments. She had an incident in the hospital on Tuesday. It was kind of a wake up call to both of us. We went up and we got to see her. And yesterday Chris went up to see her again, and she was very happy, chipper. He took pictures, and then we got the call last night. So treasure what you have, because you never know how much time you really are going to be blessed with, right? Not to get us down, but just the realization that how emotional we can be. And thank you for saying you're sorry, Margaret. Of course, of course. The power of emotions, we cannot belittle that, right? Like there is something so important about this thing that happens to us, right? Like we are our emotions. Our life is about our emotions, because our emotions create our thinking. They work symbiotically together. I know I didn't say that word right, but I know you guys know what I'm talking about. They're synergistic. Our emotions and our thinking, they're hand in hand. And so that's powerful, because if we can change our emotions, we can change our thinking, we can change our life. And so we've talked about the power of positive emotions. Yesterday, we talked about keeping track of our emotions, right? The uncomfortable ones, the fear, the hurt, the anger, the frustration, disappointment, guilt, inadequacy, being overloaded or lonely. And if you've had any experiences yesterday where you had those emotions, I know Margaret let me know what she was feeling in the Q&A last night. So she's got a couple of them we're going to work on the weekend workshop. But each of these emotions is a signal for us to take a particular action. And I have that for us. We're going to go through them in detail. Don't despair. It's just that it's longer than the time period we have allotted for the masterclass. I wanted you to know this information is out there, but please don't miss out on the replay of the weekend workshop if you can't be there, because this information is really important. But what we are going to focus on today is the 10 emotions of power, okay? The positive emotions. The emotion of love. We know how strong love is, right? We know how important love is. And warmth. Warmth is that kindness. It's that taking that extra 5 seconds to look at someone's eyes when you're at the checkout counter, or just any interaction you have, not just doing it, but actually experiencing it, being with that other person that's with you, making them smile, making them laugh. Appreciation and gratitude. It's having that thankfulness in your heart, where you can look at all the moments you're getting, even the ones that frustrate you, and take that moment to go, oh yeah, I get it. I remember, it's funny because we're back in this house, and I remember rushing one day to go to work, and I was frustrated because there was just this constant delay. And there's this Dunkin' Donuts on the way. And I remember stopping at the Dunkin' Donuts, and even in the Dunkin' Donuts, there was people in front of me, they messed up my drink. And I was just like, I'm never going to make it to work. And so when I got on the road again, went a little bit further, there was this huge accident at this like major intersection, and I was timing it. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I would have been involved in that accident if I hadn't had all those delays. And so I am very clear when things are going on around me. I don't take it as oh, that's a horrible thing. I'm like, oh, this is God stepping in to protect me. This is a moment that I just get to enjoy whatever I'm getting fed at the moment, because I don't know what it's preventing me from having. So like, this may be bad, but it could have been worse. The other emotions of power that you can rely on are curiosity, that sense of adventure, that sense of leaning in. What can I learn from this? What can I get out of this that I'm not seeing? And then excitement and passion. You guys know my excitement move is the arms above the head. Whenever I do that, I get myself in a different state. I get excited. I get passionate about what I'm talking about. And that is available to all of us. Determination, not accepting defeat or failure or problems as the end all be all, and just recognizing it as I fell down, I'm going to get back up and try again. Flexibility. It's an interesting emotion, right? What does that even mean? Well, it's leaning into, you don't have to be rigid and structured in everything. We talked about this with procrastination on day one, that book that I recommended that you guys look into called Overcoming Procrastination. She goes over and over all of these different examples of why we procrastinate. And the solution to every one of them is to let go of the rigid patterns you have adopted, the rule set that you have that says life can only be this way. I can only do things when all the everything is done and it's perfect. I can only do things when this. Or when you have that in your mindset, you can't be flexible. So you can't just roll with the punches. And so when we have the emotion of flexibility, it allows us to just take things in and flex with the way life, with whatever is happening. Yes. And then confidence. This is such a powerful emotion. I've talked to you guys about power poses, and I don't know if you can see me in the little screen there, but just the Wonder Woman pose, hands on the hips for, I think they said 20 seconds will increase your hormones and increase confidence. And they have done actual medical studies of what it does with the chemicals in your body. And so you want to have that extra confidence. Stand in a way that makes you feel powerful, and you will become it. Cheerfulness, just having that smile on your face, even in maybe you're washing the dishes and you catch yourself in a scowl. Start smiling. Put a mirror by your sink. Those times when you're not enjoying the thing you're doing, ask yourself, what could I do to make this fun? How could I make this enjoyable? And then 9 is the vitality, having that ability to jump up and do what you want, even if it feels fake at first, right? Do it anyway until it becomes a habit, and then that vitality will become part of you. And the other emotion of power is contribution. What can you give back? This is what I call the little drummer boy moment. What gift do you have? Intrinsic, valuable to you. It's inside of you. It doesn't cost anything that you can give someone else. Maybe it's a word of encouragement. Maybe it's an understanding ear. So all of these emotions are what Tony calls the seeds of greatness. I love that. I do. And so he wants us to plant these seeds in our life every day. So whatever that takes for you to have all of these emotions every day, you want to be working on that. And so we're going to do a little visualization that is going to be a lot of fun. Remember, day 2 of the workbook has the questions for the visualization, and to fill in the blanks. So we go ahead and you can do the workbook if you have access to that, but we're going to go ahead and go right into the visualization. Oops, from that slide. So go ahead and close your eyes and get yourself in a good place. And yes, Sarah says emotions are called seeds of gratefulness. I love it, love it, love it, love it. Okay. And what we are going to do is we are going to remember, we want to get out of our head and into our heart. So take some big, deep breaths and imagine that as you breathe in, you're breathing in the good things of life. And as you breathe out, you are getting rid of all the toxic things, the toxic relationships, the toxic emotions, the toxic situations in your life that aren't benefiting you. Breathe in all that's good and breathe out all the things that you just need to release and let go. Let them be some other problems that you don't need to deal with right now. And as you take that breath in and out, I want you to start focusing on the heart area and breathing in and out through the heart. And then, like the work that we have been doing over the last few days, I want you to imagine that you are on the top of your mountain. The mountain symbolizes that you have reached your destination for the task that you have at hand. So this is future pacing into a time when you know that the thing that you have to do in your life has been accomplished, and you are celebrating, arms above your head, that feeling of pure joy in your heart, excitement, accessing all of the positive emotions that you are able to access. And as you stand up there on that mountain and that feel that power, all of you is lit up and excited. I want you to imagine that there is an energy force coming up through your feet. And I want you to imagine the emotion of contribution being attached to your feet. The steps that you take, the motions that you're in, that's contributing. You're putting yourself out into the world. You're serving. And then we're going to move that energy up to your ankles. And your ankles are going to be the place where you have your vitality. And you can just imagine that flexibility, that movement that only you will be able to make as you twivel and pivot and twist. And then that energy goes up to your knees. And there's a cheerfulness in your knees. We've talked about the bee's knees, right? And you can imagine them kind of moving and swaying as if you were dancing. And then we go up to your hips. And at your hips, we have confidence. And imagine just kind of flexing and moving and shaking. And then we go up to our belly area, our belly button, if you will, our connection. As when we were born, they cut the connection, right, to our mothers. But that is this special place where our origin of our creation, and that is where our flexibility can be centered. And then we go to our solar plexus, which, if you can imagine, is kind of the breastplate, this area in between, kind of where your diaphragm is. Right underneath that is what's known as the solar plexus. And that is our area of determination. If you're familiar with the chakras, this is the area where a lot of fear gets held. And so that's where we go for courage. And then we move into our heart space. And this is the emotion of excitement and passion. And we can feel that moving through us, tingling out onto all of our limbs. That excitement boils us. We feel a different energy when we're into our excitement and passion. And then that energy comes up into our throat and our mouth. That organ system, if you will, of our voice is so powerful. It allows us to speak, to share what we stand for. And this is our curiosity. We can ask questions to get deeper understanding. We can sing. We can declare with incantations what we want. We can ask for people to treat us a certain way. And then we have our nose, our eyes, the third eye in between our eyes, right? This whole area here of our brain is for appreciation and gratitude. And so as you lean into those emotions, you can anchor them right into your headspace. And in the very top of our head, we have our 10th space, which is love and warmth. And as you imagine your all of that love at the top of your head. I want you to imagine like sunshine coming down on top of you, warming your head, filling you with love, and your head's just kind of open up, and that sunshine and love is going to pour into you from up above. I believe in God. I believe our Creator can bring this kind of love and energy from His place, like heaven pouring into us. And it can come down, it can fill us with a feeling that is so full of light, so bright, so amazing, absolutely amazing. It's glorious. And we feel that within us, and it's going to be like a river. And that river is going to water the seeds of greatness, seeds of gratefulness, those positive emotions that we can have every day coming down, filling us. Just feel that rushing into each of those parts of the body, the top of the head, filling the head, the eyes, the nose, the mouth, the throat, expanding out into our shoulders, through our fingertips, coming back in into the chest, coming into our heart space, into all of our internal organs, into our solar plexus, into our stomach, into our belly button, into our hips, down our legs, into our knees, down to our ankles, into our feet, and shooting down into the mountain. And I want you to imagine that energy that you have created from these positive emotions shooting down into the center of the earth, connecting with that lava core of our earth. And then imagine it shooting back up, positively gracing you with the power of the earth as part of you, back through your feet and your ankles and your knees and your hips and your belly and your solar plexus and your heart, into your throat, into your mouth, your eyes, nose, ears, and the top of your head. And with that big, deep breath, just honor your body, the temple for your Creator. He gives you access to all of these positive emotions. He gives you life and access to everything. It's all available to you. And it's a beautiful place to be. All right, my friends. I hope this was a good experience for you. Please put into the comments how that was for you as you come out. Kind of shake it off. You're going to probably feel a little rummy with all of that great energy in you. Going forward, just every morning, I want you to imagine standing in your mountain moment. Allow that energy to come up. It'll naturally hit all 10 of those spaces. And even if you don't remember each of those emotional words, although you could write them down and put them on a list on your mirror in your bathroom, just seeing them will remind you and plant those seeds of the positive emotions that we know you want access to. Put the list up again for you to have it. And you can always go back and rewatch the audio for sure. The video. All right. The weekend workshop is when we're going to dive deeper into these emotions and relate them to what you have been procrastinating on. So don't miss out on Saturday if you can be here. I've got the times there. Don't forget, if you are working on the emotional categories in the comments, put your the negative emotions, and maybe even the positive, like which ones really stood out to you. That would be very helpful. And then don't forget, you have VIP access, which means that all you have to do is put #VIP in the comments. You get access to the workbook, to the survey, which will help me again on Saturday to make my examples fit with what's going on in your life. And I just really hope you take advantage of getting together with us. Also, don't forget that because we are, our cycle is going through the top of the month, we cover our goals and what it is we want to do. And I'll tell you what, this space that we're in right now with these emotions, the positive emotions, this is the great state to sit down and write your goals for the month. What is it that you want to accomplish in the month of November? Keeping in mind all the other things going on, and keep those front and center all month. When you're in the Voyager program, you have access to me during office hours where we can discuss your goals. But everybody has access to the third week of the month, the third Monday. You have the ability to jump on after the Monday live and check in and say how your goals are going for the month. And you still then have a week or so to finish up your goals and get where you want to go. So it's going to be a lot of things going on this month. In the US, it's Thanksgiving and going very quickly right into the Christmas season. And I've got a couple of conferences and stuff I'm going to. I know we'll all be really busy, but please know that we can still make this month an amazing experience, especially if you're planting these emotional seeds every day. You guys deserve this. You get to have these experiences in your life for sure. All right. And I'm getting a lot of thank yous. Love that. And I hope you have a blessed day as well. So happy you guys are on, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys on Saturday. Hope you'll be able to make it. You have to let me know. Maybe put Saturday in the comments, because that will help me to send you the link. All right. Hope you guys have an amazing day, a good Friday, and we'll see you tomorrow. Okay. I see Kim is watching. I see Laura is watching. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Have a great day.